did Andrew go?
Outdoors in the shed.
What shed?
Take me out to the back of the shed. Take me out to the back of the shed.
Get off that damn shed!
Boom shakalaka. What's up, guys, girls, people of all ages? What we're going to be doing today is working on some funk grooves. We're going to be learning the traditional, the legendary break, the Funky Drummer Break by Clyde Stubblefield. We're going to then do a 7/8 interpretation. Sorry, over here as well. A 7/8 interpretation, and then we're going to play a Mozambique-based funk groove as well. So, let me just set things up. I'm multi-streaming here, and this is new to me. All right. The first thing we're going to do is the famous Funky Drummer Break. So, if you haven't heard it before, which is almost impossible because it's probably the most sampled groove except maybe the Amen Brother Break. But I would say that the Funky Drummer is probably more sampled. It goes like this. So, it's a 16th note groove. Now, in the actual groove, Clyde kind of opens and closes the hi-hats in different places. When I notated it, I have the openings on, I'll tell you right now. So I have them on the E of 2 and on the E of 4. So you have 1 E, and a 2 E, and a 3 E, and a 4 E, and a 1 E, and a 2 E, and a 3 E, and a 4 E. Slower. 1 E, and a 2 E, and a 3 E, and a 4 E, and 1 E, and a 2 E, and a 3 E, and a 4 E, and okay? That's the 16th note is the thing that's, you know, pushing this whole groove. It's like a, a funky train. So what we're gonna do first is add in just the bass drum. Okay. So we have a bass drum on 1, on the end of 1, okay, on the end of 3, and on the E of 4. So I'm just gonna do just the hi-hats and add the bass drum in and go slowly so you guys can start to follow it along and break it down. So you would have, let's see, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, okay? We're not adding in the openings yet, the hi-hat openings. We're going to leave that for last. Excuse me. So, next we have the snare pattern, okay? What I'm going to do is just play the hi-hat and snare pattern without the bass drum. One thing to notice, right, is the snare drum, there's a lot of ghosting going on in this groove, or ghost notes. So, we do have accents on 2 and on 4. So you'd have, let's see, I'm going to go slow first. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Okay? What we have next is we're going to put it together, right, with the bass drum. So, start with just the hi-hats. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, right? Gonna add in the bass drum next. 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E. And now we're gonna add in the snare. Try and get the hi-hats in. Let's see. the openings, excuse me, is on the E of 2 and on the E of 4. That's what I have written now. It's not necessarily set in stone. So. All right, and now we're going to try and get a bit of a more natural pace for it. Okay, so that is the groove. It's definitely, no matter if you listen to any type of, if you've listened to the radio or to hip hop or to pop in the last, I don't know, 30 years, actually since the beginning of hip hop, so almost 40 going on 45 years, I think. So you've heard this groove, whether you know it or not. You might not have heard the actual track, but you've definitely heard this groove because your favorite producer and your favorite artist probably sampled it at some point. So now, what we're going to do is I have an interpretation of this groove that I put into 7/8. And so obviously it's not the complete funky drummer phrase, it's centered around it, it's the theme. So I'm going to do the same thing. First I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to break it down bit by bit. So let's see if I remember this. So that's the groove. Now, as I'm playing it, I'm noticing on the notation that I have the second hi-hat that's opening falling on 7, but it's actually on the end of 7, okay? So if you do have the notation, you're following along, you can correct that. Or you can put it there if you like it there better, you know what I mean? It's when I'm showing you guys these things, nothing is set in stone. These are just, you know, my ideas or interpretations. You guys take it and run with it, you know, do whatever you want. So you might want to change the hi-hat openings or get rid of them altogether. You might want to play the groove on different drums and cymbals. Do you know what I mean? Seriously, like, I don't want to be the person to dictate what you choose to play or what sounds you choose to use. So, you know, don't worry about making these things so precise. Have fun with it. Make it your own. So here we go. I'm going to start with just the hi-hats first, like we were doing in the original Funky Drummer groove. So, we have, it's in 7/8, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Now, a lot of people for 7 when they're counting, when you're saying 7, it's 2 syllables, and sometimes that could throw people off. So some people will count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Whatever's easier, you know, for you. Me personally, I don't mind counting and saying 7. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Okay, next we're going to add in the bass drum. So we would have, let's see, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Okay, I'll do that one more time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 7M. Okay. And now we're going to add in the snare. Just like the original funky drummer groove, we have ghost notes and accented notes. The ghost notes, the accented notes rather, are once again well, in this case, it's on 3 and then on 7. So you would have 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Okay? The last thing is opening hi-hats again. So in this one, our hi-hats are opening on the end of 3 and on the end of 7. Like I said, it was marked wrong. It's marked on 7, but we want it on the end of 7. At least I do. Do you? So we would have, let's try this out. It might be sloppo at first. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 6 and 7 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Okay, jeez. Now, I'm also doing, it's kind of like a grace note. I always kind of equate it to a ruff that starts on the snare and ends on the bass. So, like, normally, a ruff you'd have, like... So, but a lot of times when I'm playing a groove, I'll do... instead of having it on the snare. So, like... So in the beginning, in this groove, that happens on the 1. So you have this snare to bass drum ruff. I call it like a snare lead bass drum ruff. It's completely incorrect, I'm sure, but it's just the way I hear it. I don't know sometimes. I know a lot of technical stuff, don't get me wrong, but sometimes I don't know certain terms. So, and that is one of them. I'm only playing that ruff on the very first time that I'm starting the groove. So it's just on the very first one. Okay. You could also, excuse me, like I said, you could also play these grooves in different spots. You could play it on the ride cymbal if you want. You could play it as a tom groove, riding your floor tom or riding your toms. You could ride your snare, ride anything. So these don't have to be, like I said, played this way. However you hear it, make it happen. So those are the funky drummer, right? So. Okay, and then you have the 7/8 one, which is the... So, that's the normal Clyde Stubblefield 4/4 funky drummer, and then that's the 7/8 interpretation. So the next thing that we're going to do is, it's a funk groove that is based off of the Mozambique pattern. So for some of you that don't know the Mozambique pattern itself, The rhythm itself, not the complete drum set group, but just the actual rhythm is would go like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and do it a little slower, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and one more time 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, that is the pattern that would normally be Mozambique. I haven't played that in a while. It would be like don't mind the tom tunings because they sound horrible right now. Now, what we're going to do is the funk groove. This, oh, by the way, the 7/8 interpretation of the Funky Drummer is in the Wake and Break series. So if you want to find a video example of it, I believe it's number 52 in the Wake and Break series on YouTube. So now, this is number, I'm going to give it to you because this is also from the Wake and Break series. This is going to be number 1839, okay? Yeah, there are a lot of grooves, just for those who don't know. There's almost 2,000 grooves in that series, so there's no shortage of material for the quarantine craziness. So, in this one, we have the Mozambique rhythm, but it's being played on the hi-hat, okay? And it's a variation. It's mainly the Mozambique rhythm. It ends a little differently. So, we have 1 and 2 and, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 1 E and 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and okay, a little slower. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. Sorry about that. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and one more time 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and 4 E and okay. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add in the bass drum. So if you're looking at the notation, we have a bass drum on 1, on the of 1, okay, and on the E of 4. So it would be, let's see, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and now the snare drum is what would come in next, okay? And if you're looking at the notation again, you'll notice there are some accented notes and some ghosted notes. So the accents in this are falling on the end of 1. Okay, I'm sorry, actually the snare, all the snare notes are falling on, you have the end of 1, you have the end of 2, you have the of 3, and then you have on 4 and the of 4, okay? But our accents are on the end of 1, the of 2, and on 4, okay? So let's see, I'm going to try and get this down. I'm sure it's going to be rusty at first. So let's see. Now obviously I'll slow it down. I had to do that first to get it internalized. So, excuse me. There you go. Excuse me. Don't worry, guys, I don't have the corona. Try it even slower. Okay, and one more time at a more natural pace. Okay, excuse me. So there you have 3 grooves. One is a classic, the Funky Drummer. Then 2 are originals. One's a 7/8 interpretation of the Funky Drummer, and the other is this Mozambique bass groove. So I'm trying to think. One other thing, I haven't done this in a long time, so it might not sound good. So let me just try it really quick. So you could also move it to the right and have your left foot playing some hi-hat stuff. But it's been ages since I've tried this, so let's see. I'm going to play the right side of the bell so it doesn't kill you guys right now. Like I said, move it anywhere. Move it to the toms if you want. Move it to a bell. Excuse me. So, that's it for this one, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that you guys learned something or took something from this that you could run with and make your own. I'm going to grab my phone right now and go online for a second and check if any of you guys are in the chats and if anybody has any questions. So yeah, here I come. Ready or not. The Fugees. Hello. I see a whole bunch of peeps. Hello, Jandira. Hello, Netface Music. What's up, Das Napo? Hey, Llewellyn, man. What's up, dude? Blurred One. John Berger. Mr. John Berger, how's it going, man? Ron, Bossman, D. Francesco. What's up, Mr. Kreth? Will. What's up, Julian? Yo, man, I hope you guys enjoyed this and got something from it. And if anybody has any questions, let me know. I'll stay on for a minute or two and see if anyone wrote anything over on the Facebooky. The Facebooky. Let's see. Cool, man. I'm glad everybody... Oh, get this stupid thing out of here.
For some reason, my computers love to update when I cannot have them update, such as when I'm in a live stream. So yeah, guys, so this is about it, and I hope y'all enjoyed, and this will be posted on Facebook and YouTube, so you guys will be able to get it, if you can't, anymore, pull it up anymore on Instagram, because I think it disappears after like 24 hours. So I post all these, you guys can check them out all the time, and yeah, till next time, guys, practice hard, play harder. Mwah!